Welcome, Nicole. Congratulations on achieving your PMP certification. And I think you scored above target in all the three domains, which is so pleasing to see that. Congratulations. We would like to inspire others also to pick it up and start working on it because, many people attend the trainings, but they don't take up the certification exam for the fear of the failure. Some people think we need months together to prepare. So let's hear from you. How was your journey right from the mentoring, the boot camp which we had, and how was the overall journey with?
For sure. Thank you. Yeah, no, happy to be here today. It's been a busy journey over the last 2 months. So I did, it's the beginning of March now, but I did my boot camp the beginning of January over, I think it was 9 evening sessions. I did 4 hours each. And then after that, then just doing more studying and then doing lots of mock exams. So it's been busy. But it's been worth it because I did well and I felt good going in. But it's an intense experience, so you definitely don't want to go at it alone.
Hmm. So how important is mentoring, or should people can just read the books and go and take up the exam, or is it mentoring is required?
I think the mentoring is required. Before I embarked on the boot camp, I've worked in project management for many years, and I've done previous courses in the past, but I've never, taken the time to do the certification because, I just didn't. So I thought, okay, it's time. When I started to look online and talk to people, there's so many resources out there that you can look, and everyone I talked to had a different book or a different method or so it can be quite overwhelming just to see the number of things out there. So I had the boot camp session, and then through yourself here, it's been great to have the mentoring and just the guidance through it, because you have to sort of focus your path to success. Otherwise, it's just going to take too long because there's not enough time to go in the wrong direction. Most people are busy, so you need kind of a guide to help you through the material and show you where to focus and sort of how to focus.
Okay, so laser sharp focus is the first number one point which everyone needs it, and they need a mentor to guide through because there are a lot of noise, lot of material, lot of content. We don't know which one is authenticated and all those things, right? You need an authorized trainer to guide you through. Okay, fantastic. Now, how was your mindset for your examination? I mean, many people say that it takes months together to prepare. So were you right? Were you having that mindset to go for the examination immediately, or was it like, something which you decided on the go during the boot camp that yes, oh no, I'll go for the examination. I will prepare this.
For sure. Yeah. So I went into the boot camp, knowing I was gonna, my goal was to do the exam, within 2 months of that. So I did the boot camp, and then I actually took a couple weeks. I was busy with my work because I'm in the process of changing jobs. So I had to kind of step away. But I think that helped too, because I think the material absorbed, and I did start to use some of that material in my job too. So it helped me kind of put it into action. And so then I came back to it, and I was looking at the calendar of how I did that. So I was about 2 weeks doing the boot camp, 2 weeks where I wasn't doing anything, just working and applying and things. And then through the month of February, I spent about 4 targeted weeks where I spent 2 weeks just reviewing the materials from the boot camp, reviewing the PMBOK, other references. So I wanted to make sure I had a good base in the material. And then I spent 2 weeks focused just on mock exams and practice questions, which then led me to the exam. And so I think it was that combination of just getting in the knowledge and then using the mock exams to help, because there's definitely a preparation just to do the exam itself is a preparation. So you need to know the material and then know how to do the exam.
Hmm. And choosing the right mock is also important. So I think you got that guidance of how to choose. Okay. The most important thing is the learning from the mock is also important, right? Once you learn from the mock, you applied and take a remock. Did you do a little bit of remocking as well?
Yep, I did. So each mock that I did, I tried to go through it, as per the real process. So the 4 hours, and I took my 10-minute breaks because I think that's important. So I'd go through the whole mock, submit, wait, hold my breath to get my mark. And then what I would do is I would generally wait till the next day, and then I would go through the mock again, the whole mock, and I would just because they would provide you the explanation with the answers. So I would read then I would go look up different things sometimes if I needed more information on something, and then so work through the whole complete mock, and then then I would try the next mock and kind of do the same. I didn't have enough time to physically redo each mock because I find that they're long, and even when I redid part of one and it took me, I was faster, but it still took me time. I was averaging about a minute per question, and then the ones I got wrong, it said a minute and a half. So you need enough time to physically do those mocks, but going through them again helped a lot, because then it cements the concepts, and because you start to see similar themes across the questions, and then you kind of get a better sense of what what direction you should be going to be successful for the questions.
Yeah. Since you got above target, I also noticed that you had an increase in the scores in each mock when you took. I think that is a very important thing. Most people miss out that part, that you need to have an increase in score in the new mock when you take a first attempt. I think you got that perfectly fine. In fact, I was seeing the scores, like it was somewhere in the range of, it went up to 79 and things like that, right? So that
yeah, I started with 75, and then I had 77 and 79, and I thought, oh, it's it's only 2%, but it was going up
yeah.
each time. And then I physically ran out of enough time to do the full mocks, but I was doing other questions because there's lots of different kinds of practice questions on each different area. Like I focused on Agile quite a bit because I don't have a background in Agile. My background is more in the traditional predictive type approaches. So I spent a little more time on some of those questions. And so those were, not full mocks, but just targeting on that area. Because that was the other thing with the mocks, is the system gave me indications of where I was in each of the different areas. So then you can go back and target those areas more. So that was helpful.
So since you don't have agile background and you scored above target, will that experiential learning within the class also helped you a lot to get that experience?
It did. Actually, yeah, like through, how we spent quite a bit of time in Agile in our boot camp class. And then there was a mixture of students in the class, but so a number of us that hadn't worked with Agile, but then there was a number of students that had. And so it was really neat to hear their experiences when they shared, how does a Scrum work, and the sprint planning and things, because I found Agile. I actually really started to like this Agile methodology coming from years in government projects in a huge, very structured bureaucracy. I was like, wow, Agile, we should start taking this on. But it was neat to hear from the other students, just to hear their experiences. So it kind of made it more just more practical, so you could see what they were doing and ask them questions. And then we had a WhatsApp group after that we kept chatting, and so people could ask questions and share with either in the group or on the side with some of the participants in the class. So that was helpful as well.
Practical, yes, we need to have the practical feeler and experience or learning from it, because the examination is practical, it is situational, it'll put you onto the situation and ask you to think about in that situation, right? So how was your day of the exam? Like, all done, you prepared well, and you were like going for the exam. How was your day of the exam in terms of that split of 60, 60, 60? Was it tough? Was it because you got above target? You saw, hearing from you makes a logical sense on how was your experience on the exam.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I was well prepared for that day. My exam was at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I made sure to leave my house quite early because I had to drive about half an hour. So I used the drive. I was just focused. I just took a minute to listen to music, relax, get there. And then I got in, and it's quite a intense experience. Actually, I've never been to an exam where there was that much security involved before. So sign in, and they made me answer all these questions, and confirming I didn't have any knowledge of this was me, and I wasn't cheating, and they took my picture and then got me signed in, a security badge, and then you have to put everything you have in a locker. You can't even have your water bottle or your chapstick or anything. So you go in, and then it was it was a nice space, and I sat down at my workstation, got comfortable, and you just get started and go in. And I just took the time to, I knew that it would be sort of 60, 60, 60 for the question. So I just took my time. I watched my timer, paced myself. I made sure that I was flagging the questions for review because I knew I wouldn't have time to review them all. So I flagged the ones. I used the tool for the exam had some nice features. So I like the strike through feature. So as I was reading the questions, I was striking through the answers that I knew were wrong. So then it would help me focus, and that helped me when I went back to review as well because it kept the marking. So that was good. And then, yeah, I made sure I took my 10-minute breaks, just step out of the room, get a drink of water, go to the washroom, whatever, go back in. And then, I budgeted my time. It took me almost the whole time actually, which was longer than my mock exams had taken. And I think it was just because there was an incremental review after each one, but watching the timer I didn't fixate on the timer, but you just want to make sure that you're on pace. But having the mock exams, it helped. And so yeah, I felt good in there, and it was, it was an intense experience, but it was a good experience.
Nice. And how was the quality of the questions? Like 60 were very tough. First 60 were tough. Medium.
Actually, well, you mentioned that it would get harder as you go. I found the beginning, 20 questions maybe were lighter, but then it got harder, a bit. And then it was a mix, really. Like I didn't find it was, easy, middle, hard. It was very kind of steady. It was balanced is the right word. Yeah. So it wasn't, it took me about the same to do each group of questions. So it was a good balance of questions.
And how much of it was agile? Because you have no experience from agile background. How much of it was agile?
I found it was similar in all the mocks I had done as well. It's a pretty solid mix. Like there's quite a lot of agile in there. Like I don't know if I would gauge it by a percentage, if it's half and half, or it's definitely a dominant theme in there. And through all the mocks in there's a lot of theme of, you can tell because PMI is kind of adopted agile and hybrid more over the few years. So the themes are things like where your organization is shifting from a predictive approach to an agile or hybrid approach, and what do you do? And so it's that theme, if fast forward a few more years, it'll be interesting, because maybe more organizations will have adapted to agile, and then it will be a different focus. But I think it's still the types of questions speak to, I think, where PMI is at as it's evolving to keep pace with how the world is evolving in project management.
Bang on. I think you're right. PMI is talking about hybrid, which is already happening today. In fact, most of the projects have been hybrid in nature, right? And AI is becoming the talk of the town. In fact, PMI has released a lot of free content on AI. You would have seen that, right? Like generative AI, data landscape with AI. And I think these are like huge value. The way it is intending, the way lessons learned will be done in AI and all those things. So PMI is thinking in that way of adding, even in PMBOK version 8, we are expecting a lot of advancements like AI and disciplined agile toolkit mixed in it. So I think that's a huge value which is coming in. So great. I think that is what I think we should focus on. That's why the importance of PMP certification is it's there for every single project manager, because they can upgrade themselves on what is required in the industry today, like hybrid. Now you are more equipped now compared to other project managers who are not equipped, right? We need 25 million more such certified people. Obviously, with the new job, you will be finding it more comfortable now with a lot of fresh concepts, and you've already started applying it.
I have actually. One of the first things I did after we learned about on one of the boot camp lessons was the Kanban board, and at that point, I was working with my team just trying to come up with a better format for our weekly meetings. So we made a Kanban board, so it had a columns for what are you going to do, what are you doing, and then what are you done, and then we had a column for blockers. And I don't know if I followed it to the T, but I employed that concept, and then over the last couple months it's been working well. We've been adapting as we go, and I wouldn't say we're using a true agile framework, but we took some of those concepts. So I think I guess you could call it a hybrid, but it was neat to start embodying them and then sharing with others too what I was learning, because it just others on my team, because actually there's several other people on my team at work that they don't have their PMP. So they were asking, oh, what should I do? So I've already been, working with some of them and trying to inspire them, because I do find it was a very enjoyable experience overall to do this, like after many years of being in the business. And then the last kind of project management courses I had taken, sort of to PMI type like prep courses, were probably back in 2012 timeframe. And the whole machine has evolved so much. Like, it's way less about just knowledge and memorization and things. It's much more in the realm of systems thinking and concepts, and how do you really mobilize groups of very diverse stakeholders to achieve complex projects. So I think I like the way the whole material has gone with the PMI.
Very nice. In fact, I also believe in the fact that this is just the starting step. Like PMI, PMP Success Blueprint, which you have gone through, like getting your certification. Then is implementation, right? The success implementation piece, which is the next stage of implementing, like how you have started implementing in your day-to-day job. And after a year or so, it will be like a mastery, like you're making sure that you're mentoring people and things. So that is what we are looking forward to see if we can have step-by-step growth and implementation. Many people say PMI, PMP, or all these programs are not practical, but I completely deny, because it's the lack of knowledge of implementation which will make them think that it's not practical. And you see it's fully practical, right? With the hybrid and agile.
Yes.
Right. Great. Any specific guidance you would give for people who are thinking that they have not taken up PMP certification anytime? Do you think that a mentor like Dr. Azmath would help them?
For sure. Dr. Khan, he was our hero in the group. So thank you. I think having a mentor like yourself has been key, just to keep motivated, to be part of the group and participate. So whether it's asking the questions in the class, or then in the WhatsApp group, as much as you're comfortable, because you're not alone in the journey, and you find a group, find a mentor, and then just go for it, because it's worth it. And you need to keep the momentum up once you've done the course. Don't 2 months. I wouldn't wait much longer than that, because it becomes stale, and then you have to, unless you're a guru on the side, I think you need to keep steady and commit to it, and everybody can get there for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much. It has been pleasure having you on the channel, and again wish you a great seasons ahead, especially with the implementation part of it. Thank you so much once again, Nicole, for joining this session.
For sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Khan.